Cabrón, qué chinga me picó aquí un pinche moyote. Oh, man. Alright, guys. Good morning. And welcome back to my channel. This video is gonna go under either vlogs or anecdotes. Anecdote. I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about a little story about my life, or that happened in my life. And it's, no sé si decirlo en español o en inglés, but it is gonna involve a little bit of reality, a little bit of more what do you call it? More real stuff about life. Let's call it that. So if you're a teenager, you're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, this might be a good video for you to watch. But given to all the parents out there, since I'm going to speak it in English, I'm going to Spanglish because I speak Spanglish for the most part. It's a little bit about my life, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because not so long ago, I want to say about a month ago, if you guys haven't seen this video, I ran into an older gentleman in his late 30s, I want to say 40s, early 40s, in the street, and he was on drugs. And I posted it, and I gave you guys a little heads up on what was happening. And in that video, it shows me getting a little bit sentimental, a little bit of what do you call it? A little bit touched by it. Como que sí me agüité un poco. Let's put it that way. A lot of people, or some of you, asked me que por qué me agüité, why did I, get sentimental if he's on drugs and stuff like that. Y pues uno de papá, or as the dad, will say you don't want that around your kids. And so I say this because it was literally a block away from my house, from my home, the thing that I like to protect. I moved all over here from Central. I moved from away from Lower Valley because I know all the things that have happened over there. Nowadays, the Lower Valley has changed a lot. It's been very safe. Thank you to El Paso PD and all that stuff. And they've done a really good job of cleaning up the place, right? The Lower Valley. There's still a lot of violence, or not violence, but a lot of stuff happening over there. Y también en el centro, also in downtown. Entonces, aquí in the west side, it's a more calm, está más calmado aquí todo el pedo. ¿Sí me entienden? O sea, aquí en el oeste del Paso. Está más calmado. No todos los días ves a tu cholo, no ves a gente usando drogas, no se ve tanto. Ahora, everywhere in El Paso, or everywhere you go, there's going to be your users, there's going to be your gang members, there's going to be your cops. Everywhere you go, it doesn't matter where you go. But that's why we had moved this way, to prevent my kids, o para prevenir que mis hijos anden acá y que se vean las cosas que yo he visto, ¿ok? Entonces, esta anécdota lo quiero contar, que lo que a mí me pasaba cuando yo era teenager, cuando yo era joven, cuando tenía unos de 12 a 15 años más o menos. Entonces, let's go back to those days. Entonces, en esos días, vamos a ver, en esos días, we go back to those days, y antes no había internet como ahora, no había, ¿cómo se dice? Sí había internet, pero no todos los teníamos. No todos tenían el celular. No todos tenían a computer. O sea, only very few of us in the hood had, I think, a computer. Maybe two of us out of a whole crew that I used to hang with. Entonces, back in the day, um, I had seen a lot of stuff like that around my neighborhood. Right, I used to live in the Columbia apartments. And a lot of these names I'm going to change, or I'm not going to say the name to protect their privacy or their image, right? So I'm telling you this from my point of view. I'm telling you this is what I lived. Whether you want to believe it or not, this happened to me, and I'm just telling you a little bit of the story of my to get to for you guys to get to know me a little bit more, and the reason why I don't, uh, I, por qué me agüité when I saw that guy. Entonces, back when I was around 12, 13, okay, I'm not giving you exact dates. Think about this. I was 12. I was starting seventh grade, I want to say, and my dad, that was never in my was never in my life. He left my life when when I was about 4. Okay, but at that time in my life, my dad had just gone to jail. 13, 12, 13. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer. And we didn't know if she was going to come out alive, or there was a big risk of her not being there for me, for my brother, for my sister. Now, my brother, I was 12, he was already 20 something. My brother was always here in El Paso, but he had his own family. He didn't live with us anymore, and he was a trucker. So he was, I think around that time he was still a trucker, but he had his own family or whatever, his own life. So I didn't have much of a male role model when I was around that age. My sister had just moved out of where we all used to live. Um, she had moved out to Denver. So when my mom got cancer, there we go. Damn it! I hope. Well, hopefully it didn't cut off too much. But so at 12, I used to be a football player, and my mom didn't know much about my life and my double life that I was living, but she knew I had a double life. Me and her were just talking about it like a week ago, and we talked about how how that she would be, well, how I had a double life, right? So let me explain to you what that means. A double life meant throughout the day I was a football player, I was a kid, I would hang around with my friends, but at night I got into some stuff. Now, at the time, my mom had cancer, and we didn't have enough food. Uh, we had food stamps and stuff like that, but by the third week, going on to the fourth, making it the month, because we would get food stamp once a month, and she didn't have Social Security yet. We were trying to get the Social Security thing started. So, um, so I was going through a lot of stuff. My family was going through a lot of stuff. And as a teenager, I always thought oh, well, how can I start making money for myself? So that's when um, I got introduced to a couple of little jobs of selling chocolates. I remember, and a couple of my friends can remember some dude appeared out of nowhere. He's like, hey, you guys want to make some money? This summer we're going to be selling chocolates. And his hustle was that, what was his hustle? Oh yeah, that we were going to save up to go to Disneyland at the end of the at the end of the summer break or whatever. So that was a hustle. He would make us sell chocolates, and they're freaking expensive. And we made a little bit of bucks right there with him, but it wasn't a lot because he would basically take most of it. So a little bit of money that we had, that I had, uh, I had saved it up. I had made. I would buy myself my McDonald's or whatever, right? For whatever a little 12, 13 year old buys. So as things got worse for my mom, she she had to go through chemo, and a lot of her time was bed rest. And so what I would do to to keep on, I mean, surviving, I guess you want to call it that. Um, I would I would eat at other friends' houses. There's this man that I'm always gonna be grateful for. One of my homies' dad, and I would go spend a lot of the time there. And that man would always feed me, and he made me feel like if I was one of his kids. And I'll always be grateful for that man. And as a matter of fact, I learned how to drive in his van. I don't think, well, I'm pretty sure he knows, but I don't think he knows. But me and my friend uh, would basically take the van and go on little joy rides around the apartments. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those apartments. I'll probably try to post a picture of the apartments, but there was a little parking area, and I would take the van. Me and my friend would take the van and take little cruises around there. But so I would do that, and then I would eat at my wife's now my wife now, her grandma's house. They would always feed us. They would always feed me, and every time that I'd be hungry, I would get out of football practice or whatever. And this was when I was like 15 or whatever, a little bit older. But I'm gonna take a little couple of years back. How I got introduced to the drug life was some dude was like, hey, well, why don't you come up on some real money? Because I was kind of struggling. And he's like, why don't you start selling weed? And I was like, what do you mean selling weed? And he's like, yeah, dude, everybody smokes weed. Just get some weed and start selling it. So I was like, hey, well, I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And I got myself, I remember I had bought a good amount of weed. I don't want to say a brick, maybe half a brick, half a pound. And it all started there. I paid a certain amount for it. I didn't know how to weigh it, but basically, let's say this little bag, right? This is a Ziploc bag. We used to sell them in Ziploc bags or whatever you want to call them. And we would use two fingers, two or three fingers. I don't remember. I think it was two fingers like this to fill it up. We fill it up all with bud, and then we would fold it. That was $10 worth. So um, that came about, boom, making some pretty good money. But my mom didn't know about it. A lot of my other family members didn't know about it, and a lot of friends didn't know about it. So during the day, I'd be all, hey, with my homies playing football with friends, with girls or whatever. But at night, I would try to be selling this stuff. And my customers were older people than me, of course. They weren't, I was 12, 13, 14, and my customers were 18, 20s, 30s. And that's when a lot of people started knowing me because of that. You know what I mean? A lot of older people. And so the drug game, as far as weed, is kind of weak, if you ask me, because it wasn't making enough money for me. Um, so this dude that I knew, he was an older man, this connect of mine. He was an older man, and he's like, why don't you sell coke? And I was like, what do you mean coke? And he's like, yeah. He's like, cocaine is, look how little it is, and this is worth $20. Look, this is 40. So I was like, all right. To me, I was living this life to have a couple of bucks because you guys don't realize that by the end of the month, when your mom is in bed rest and she has cancer and you don't know what's going to happen with her, your family members are doing their own thing, you don't want to bother them, and your dad's in jail, so you're basically on your own as a teenager. And it sucks eating. And this is why I hate ramen now. I hate ramen. I hate ramen so bad. And I'll eat it once in a while just to remind me of where I've came from. And and yeah, so I started selling the Coke. I bought myself back in the day. I think it was an 8 ball. An 8 ball was worth. I used to get it for like $60, and I would get 160 out of it. So it was a little bit like doubling up your money. And the thing is that nobody tells you is that you have to know how to hide things. You have to. I was hiding things in parks. I was hiding things in benches. I was hiding things under beds. I was hiding things under friends' houses and in their wherever, right? Because I couldn't let my mom find it. Although my mom was sick at the time, she would still, you know what I mean, once in a while, get up from her bed and try to feed me and stuff like that. But a lot of the chemo messes with the person, man. It really messes with them. It's such a struggle for that person. So I when I saw this guy that was right there past what the video that I showed, when I saw this guy, it brought me flashbacks of this other man. And this is the thing that I want to get clear is I'm not trying to tell you guys that if to sell drugs. I'm not. That's the worst thing you guys could do is to sell drugs, is to not ask for help. You have so many resources, so many people that could help you out. Um, and you have no need. You really have no need to this. So I'm not trying to glorify this. I'm trying to explain to you a little bit of my background. And so this guy was he was a good guy, but he was like 40, 50. And this guy that I had found over here reminded me of him because it was let's say I was like 13, 14. I uh, I was already selling. I was selling coke, and I was selling weed, but not a lot of weed because the coke business is more profitable, and cocaine is so much easier to hide, and it's not as smelly or stinky as weed. And so um, this one time it was already late, like 10 p.m. When you're 13, 14, back where I used to live at 10 p.m. everybody had to be inside because of the securities. Um, I get out of there, and I'm not gonna say his name or whatever, but he was one of the homies' dads, and that's what a lot of my friends didn't know is that I knew their parents more than they knew them. You know what I mean? It was kind of sad, but I was so he calls me. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, you don't know where to get some cocaine or whatever." And at the time, I had a small little cell phone, like a Motorola, I believe, and I had to prepay because I didn't. I was You're 12, 13, 14. You don't have a plan, and back in the day, not everybody had a cell phone. So this guy calls me, and I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I take him this 20. I take him a 20, and he boom right there and then boom does it in front of me. Boom, and he's all wired. That's what they call it when they're under the influence, right? and he used to drink a little bottle of Jack Daniels, just a Jack, and a little bit of rocks, a little bit of ice cubes. So this man, it was already like a Thursday or I think it was Thursday or Friday, and then he tells me, "Hey man," like 2 hours later, "Hey, you got some more?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro." So I'm thinking, I'm making money for the weekend. I'm not gonna have to. I'm not gonna have to do much. Just this man's gonna provide me with some money, and I'll be okay for the weekend. And and so this is how it went. And he bought a 40. So oh man, I have to go get ready. But let me try to finish the story within. I know, sorry, it's been a long story. Uh, so this man, he gets a 40, and I disappear the next day. Uh, he's my phone. I wake up, my phone's ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. So I'm like, what the hell, man? And I call him, and he's like, yeah, but I need more. It's some fire stuff. It's good stuff. And he's like, bring me some more. And I was like, dude, I gotta go to school. It was Friday, I think. So I go to school. Before I go to school, I drop off some stuff. Boom, 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 boom. I dropped another 40. And then I hit school, come back, and my phone was already off the chain again. And so that same night, that Fridays, that's how the process went. I went, dropped off 40. He would call me a couple of hours later. So Saturday, I had reloaded. I had gotten more stuff because I had already made my money to re-up, as a lot of people call it now. Um, this guy that I was getting the cocaine from, uh, he tells me, "Hey, bro, I got this good stuff," and I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Crystal meth," and I was like, "Bro," I was like, nobody sells that around here," and he's like, "Well." He's like, well, in case you guys want to, in case your people want to try it or whatever. So I tell him, all right, I get this little 20 or 40 of crystal meth. So I tell this man, I was like, hey, bro, I was like, I got this 40. I was like, if you want it, I'll give it to you. I was like, because it was given to me, but I don't want it. This man's like, yeah, yeah, bro, I'll take that. But this, mind you, this man had already been partying for 2 days. It was a Friday night. Uh, he takes it, and plus I had still sold him like another 40. So that he was already messed up, and he had bought in another Jack bottle or whatever. So Saturday night till Sunday night, he uh he calls me and he's like, hey Ruben, hey, can you come through, bro? And I'm like, why are you whispering? He's like, hey, come through, bro. He's like, I need some stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll be there right now. So I go, right? Let me explain to you. Let's see if you guys can see me or see this. Okay, so I go in. You know what? And I knock. And he's like I'm on this side of the door, right? And he's like I'm him right now. He's like this. This is how he opened the door. Like this. And he's like, hey, is that you? And I was like, yeah. He's whispering at me, and I'm like, why are you whispering? And then he's like, is that you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, come in. So I go in, right? And I close the door, and I'm right here by the door, and this guy is like this. Let me try to give you the honest. Like this. It's all messed up, right? I was like, what the hell? And I'm young. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So let me give you guys an example. So he's like, I'm gonna need some more, bro. And I was like, bro. I was like, you look all fucked up. And he's like, yeah, bro, but you got some more or what? He's like, you got some more? And I was like, nah, bro. I was like, I don't have no more. I was like, I need you to stop calling me, bro. And he's like, bro, don't be that way, bro. So while he's talking to me, he's like this. I'm gonna need some more, bro. And let's say these persianas are down right here, these blinds. And he's like this, literally. every 2 seconds. Like this, eh? I'm gonna need some more, bro. Whispering at me. Whispering and I was tripping. He's tripping hard. And that's what reminded me of that man over there that I had seen about a month ago. And then it was I don't know, hopefully you guys were able to see that. It was a very sad moment for me when I was like, damn, like drugs really do fuck you up. And so this man, I tell him, I was like, what's going on, bro? And he's like, bro, I haven't slept like in 4 days, bro. And I was like, damn. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, I've been partying. He's like, you got some more stuff? I was like, nah, bro. And I had more stuff, but I was like, nah, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I think I got so scared because I thought he was gonna die. And so he's right there, and I stayed there for like half an hour trying to see if he would calm down, and he wouldn't. And he was like this, and then he starts talking about the cops, right? Let me give you another. So he's like this, right? I'm about to leave, and he's like, yeah, bro. And then he's like, but be quiet. And when I was like, why am I gonna be quiet? He's like, because they're out there. Can you hear them? And he was like this. He was trying to listen, like this. Clearly, there was nobody on the outside. There were cops. There was no cops. He's like, can you hear the sirens? And I was like, nah, bro. I was like, I can't hear the sirens. And he's like this. He's like, can you hear them? He's like, I think they're looking for me. And I'm like, damn, man. Like, it hurt my feelings so hard because I knew this man was not in his sense. You know what I mean? But that was my first encounter with somebody that was under the influence heavily. And so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I would usually run into him once in a while, right? Like in my blocks or when I'd be going to the stores or whatever. And I didn't hear nothing from him. So I texted him. I was like, hey, you good? Nothing. So I get nervous. I'm like, I gotta go to this man's house. So I go Wednesday morning, and he tells me, I go and he's passed the freak out. Fuck, he's passed the fuck out. I try to wake him up, and he's like, hey, bro. He wakes up, and he's like, what's going on, man? I was like, how you been, bro? I was like, I'm a little worried for you. And then he's like, yeah, I know, my bad, bro. He's like, I partied for 4 days without sleep. So I slept. Once we left, he's like, I tried calming down and I couldn't find another connect. And that was it. I had to stop. And he's like, what did you see? And I was like, nah, we're good, bro. I was like, you were just tripping and it was getting me worried. And he's like, thanks for coming and looking out for me. And I was like, I know, bro. I was like, mind you, this man is 50, 45, 50, and I'm 13, 14. So I was in shock. He was messed up. He was hungover, or whatever you want to call it, off a binge. And so this past time that I had seen this man over here messed up, it reminded me of him because he was all messed up. And it just, it gives me a reminder of how life can be. You know what I mean? I've been on all sides of this story. I've been on the guy. I've been the helper that goes and helps him. I've been the provider, which I'm not proud of. I've been on the other side. I've been the user too. But that's gonna be another story. For another day. I'm sorry for taking up so much time of your life, or so much time right now. But I gotta go get raiding. I hope you guys like this story. I tell you my story, so you guys won't think of anything like that. You need to stop, and before you make any type of irrational decisions, like fighting each other for no freaking reason, like doing drugs for no freaking reason, like selling drugs for no freaking reason, for doing anything wrong, even for shooting up a school. Right now, somebody was armed at El Paso High School, and I don't know nothing about that, but why are you there? Why are you armed? There's no reason to be armed at school. But um, I'm gonna call this uh, anecdote number 1. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys learn from my history. I hope you guys are smart enough not to do that. And I mean it. Be smart enough not to do that. There's so many other options to do in this world. Okay? I hope I just reach one of you, at least one of you. I gotta go, guys. Peace. Catch you in the next video.